Hey Birchouse friends, welcome back. So this week's question comes to us from Kozak Cat, who asks, "Hey Birchouse, do you use the correct wood that would have been used in time period when you do recreations?" The short answer is yes, with a few caveats, and let's talk about it for a little bit. So when we decide we're going to build a new item, we're going to offer something new. We spend time researching, and a lot of that research is built around what were the materials used in the construction of that item. So, like, let's say we're looking at a shield. We're going to first look at archaeological finds. Can they identify the wood species that was used in the construction of that shield? That doesn't always happen. Sometimes the wood is degraded to such a point that archaeologists and historians can't identify the wood species, but if they can, then it's a surefire way to know that, yes, that's what we need to use. Barring that, say you don't know what the wood species is, you can look at primary sources, manuscripts, and writings. Did somebody write down how they built an item? Or is it mentioned in passing? You look at like Roman scutum, they're typically faced with rawhide, but there's a writing by Polybius, and in passing he mentions a canvas facing. He's not talking about shield construction, he just happens to mention it. So, we can look at writings. Is there some evidence there on what was used in the construction of that item? Finally, if we don't have writings, we don't have archaeological evidence, we can look at the area, like what trees are available in the area and what would make the most sense to use. At that point, we are doing guesswork, but it is based on educated guesses. What's in the area, what would absolutely work, what wouldn't work, and what's kind of in between. So that's the first step when we're looking into a new item to reconstruct or to build, to offer. And then we just try and hone as closely as possible when we're building those materials or when we're building those goods. So, for instance, we use a lot of ash here at Birchouse Workshop. We see a lot of ash used in weapon and tool construction through medieval Europe and Renaissance Europe. It's a plentiful tree. It's good and hardy. It's strong. Has good, relatively lightweight compared to other options. Ash is just a really good wood for weapon and tool construction, so we use a lot of it here, and there's a lot of evidence for its usage. When we look at our shields are mostly made from white pine. There are multiple examples of historical shields made from white pine that we have on the archaeological record. Including things like the Gokstad shield that was made from white pine. Having said that, white pine wasn't the most common or even the most desired wood species to use in shield making in medieval and Renaissance Europe. Predominantly, the overwhelming choice would be linden wood. So why don't we use linden here if it's the more ubiquitous tree species used in shield construction? It's because linden is a European tree, so it has to be imported here to the States. It can be kind of hard to get a hold of, and it can be kind of expensive. And we do try to keep things budget-friendly here for our customers. So we can absolutely make a linden shield as a custom order. We can order in linden and then do a custom order shield. But for our day-to-day sales, stocking, things of that nature, we opt for the period accurate white pine, with the understanding that it's a lesser used tree species in wood construction. And then finally, sometimes we go off the script entirely. I really like to work with things like Osage orange, honey locust, black locust, and those are uniquely North American species. I like to work with some exotic species of woods. I like padauk for certain things, among others. Canary wood. For certain objects. When you're using tree species that are not from the region, you're completely, you've gone off the books. If I make a Viking axe with an Osage orange handle, that is not a period accurate Viking axe. The Vikings didn't have access to Osage orange. It looks really cool, but it isn't period accurate. Now, I'm okay with that personally. One, it can get tiresome to work with like the same 6 wood species day in and day out. So it's nice to stretch my wings a little bit and work outside of the historical. There's a cool factor to it. I think like a Viking axe made with honey locust looks beautiful. In fact, I have a Viking axe somewhere that is made from honey locust that I made, that I was going to sell. I loved it so much I kept it for myself because I just thought it looked so pretty. And it's not historically accurate, and I would never represent it any other way. If you ever come and see us in person and you see a display of axes or a display of shields, ask. We'll tell you. We'll never hide the truth from you. We'll be like, oh yeah, that absolutely is as close to the real thing as you can get. That's period accurate. Or we'll say, no, that just isn't a period accurate item. And you can decide from there what is best for you. So yes, we work predominantly in historical materials, the materials that would have been used in the actual construction of the things that we are representing. But sometimes we go off script and we do our own thing, or sometimes we take liberties, like in the instance of the white pine, period accurate, but not nearly as common as another material. So there you go. That was a great question, Kozak Cat. Thank you so much for asking. I do really appreciate it. If you ever have a question for Birchouse, comment below with "Hey Birchouse," ask, and we'll answer in a future video. In the meantime, we'll see you all next Wednesday.
Welcome to Birchouse, where history meets the art.